evening, everybody, and thank you all for coming to us all. I recognize some of the folks who are here to view the meeting. I also recognize the folks who are here to present the meeting, and we think that that's the best part of this whole process. I'm calling us to order. We have a full board tonight, and everybody who is supposed to be here is. That's also good. Jake is here. Don is also here. He's our attorney for the village and helps us out anytime we get in places where we shouldn't be. We have our deputy clerk, and we appreciate that. So what we're gonna do is this, the way we're gonna do it. We'll stand and we'll do a pledge of allegiance. Then I'll read up the agenda. Yeah, why don't we do that right now? Good boy. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thank you all, and thank you all for participating in that. What we will do is we did the pledge. Our agenda here is one item is on the agenda. I'll introduce that as it comes about. The way we'll do this is when we bring up the agenda, I'll say anyone who wants to gets up and gives us a presentation of what it is you're planning on doing, where we'd like to grant a variance so that you can continue to do it. And I don't know, I saw pictures of it. I thought it kind of looked nice. But I think it's great that you are doing it. Then we will have any public input from the public for or against it. We'll address that. And then we will look forward to our next meeting. But before this meeting is over, we will give you a decision on what we come to with this. So you walk out of here with a granted variance, and then you can just go ahead and do what it is you want. Any questions or thoughts on that? Anything we missed out? Okay, very good. So again, Jason and Danielle Hall, owners of 81 Kircher Park, seek to attach a front porch pursuant to Village Code 175-11C. The required setback is 40 feet or the neighborhood front yard setback average of 20.93 feet. The applicant proposes to build the front porch with a front setback of 15.45 feet. So in other words, what we're doing is we're going to stick this out farther. They're kind of caught in that, but that's where they are. Than would normally be allowed in a perfect lot. So what I will say at this point is, why don't you guys give us what it is you've got?
Go over there?
Yes, you go over there, tell us, give us your name, bring your daughter with you.
Meeting minutes.
Right.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh. All right, good evening,
Go ahead.
everyone. Jason Hall. We lived at 81 Kircher Park for going on 20 years. So, the house was built in 1920. Abby moved in about 7 years ago.
Very good.
And when I purchased the house, the front porch was semi-enclosed, which means it has some 2x4s up with like a screening on it, like some of the houses on the street. So when I moved in, I removed those 2x4s with the screen, so it's just an open porch. The good thing that's working for us is that underneath there is a full foundation that you can actually walk underneath. That I can, I'm pretty short, but I can still walk underneath it too. So that's the one thing going for us. So what we'd like to propose to do is to enclose that fully, move our front door to the front of the house, and then have some steps just in the front so we can get in and out. And the part that we're asking for the variance is that we just want a little 6 feet coming out, an A-frame roof to go over the top of it to keep the snow and rain and all that from getting slick when we go in and out of the house. Or if our in-laws are coming over, they're not out in the rain until we can get to the door. But in the wintertime, it can get awfully slick out there too. So we're just looking for a 6.5 foot variance to go a little bit closer to the curb so we can just have an overhead to it. So when you're standing there on the steps, that you're not in the weather or anything like that. And aesthetically, it would look really nice compared to more homes that are being built and the new home being built next to us. It'll look more updated, that will have a an A-frame coming out and 2 pillars coming down on a small little concrete step so we can get inside the front of the house.
Are you gonna enclose it at all?
No, it's gonna be open, so it's a portico, which means that it's just gonna have the 2 6x6s out front. My father-in-law's a mason, so he's gonna help us with the little concrete, it'll come out about 5.5 feet, so you can step on it to go inside the house. So the portico is open, so there'd be 2 6x6s on each side, where we're gonna dress it up with the PVC outside of it, and maybe some stone at the bottom, maybe about this high. But there'll be a small sidewalk coming from the driveway coming over to it with some landscaping around it to make it look very nice. Right now, when I first moved in, there was bushes up front. So we removed that. If you guys drove by, that it's just nothing. They're now just grass. We didn't landscape because we were hoping that we can get the new front door installed. Because right now, when you walk into our house, you can take 1 step in and sit on the couch. So we don't have a foyer right now. The house was built in the 20s.
That has some value to it.
So with the 4 of us, it's kind of tough with coats and shoes, and we have a small closet. You see in the picture, there's just like a small 3 feet where we step in, put our coats down. You're in the living room right there. So we're looking just to add a foyer for some extra space for storage, and that you're not walking into our front house directly into our living room. We got a little barrier space for coats and that sort of thing. So just to be clear, it's just 6.5 feet more from the existing front of the house, which I guess in the 20s there wasn't any building codes, so it's already in violation of the new codes that are out there. So that's why it seems like such a big distance, 14 or 15 feet that we're asking for, but it's really just 6.5 feet of overhead. So it's not, I would call it a portico instead of a porch type thing. I mean, I guess maybe it's synonymous. I'm not quite sure what the definition is, but so it's just an overhead A-frame that'll come off of our existing roof about 6.5 feet closer to the curb with 2 6x6s on a concrete step that we can get into the home.
Are you encroaching on anything in the front of the house that I'm talking about is sidewalks or to the side? Are you going into your driveway?
There will be a sidewalk from the driveway so we can go in the front of the house, get into the front door.
Yep.
And then the only thing in front of our house is the sidewalk, that they just installed. It looks beautiful. On the other side, the street just got done too.
And it's not gonna do anything to that sidewalk?
Yeah, no, it will be very, very far away from that, so. Yeah, Abby, anything to add? No? Okay.
All right.
Any question?
That was what I was going to open it up to the other members of the board to see if they have any questions.
So I'm assuming you're enclosing the existing porch to create that space, right?
Correct. So when I originally purchased the house, on my survey it says it's already enclosed.
Wow.
So I guess 20 years ago, I didn't get a permit to unenclose it. So it still says on the survey that it is enclosed. But Aaron, who I was working with, said that I wouldn't need a variance to come see the board to enclose it. So really the variance is just for the A-frame that will come out as like a overhead when we go up. Oh my God, sorry. Up and down the stairs.
So then my next question is really for Jake is with utilities. I mean, they're getting really close to the road. Do they have RG&E, water?
They would have to, call 811, do a design ticket or call for a stakeout. I think in reality, when you look at, I think there was a modification to the variance request. It's really only like 5.5 feet.
Right. I just didn't know if RG&E has nowadays most subdivisions have RG&E easements on both sides of the road, so I didn't know if that was gonna encroach that, where RG&E might have a problem, but being from the,
Yeah,
40s or whatever, it's probably not necessarily an issue, right?
yeah, I'm not certain guessing if I recall when we did the sidewalks, the gas line was, I think the gas line was right, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's actually where the sidewalk is, it's like within a foot of the sidewalk, so we'd be more than 10 feet away from that. And also our gas line and water line is on the north side of the house, so we wouldn't be close, because we did a excavation of the house and I patched up the basement walls, they were leaking, so we did a full excavation, got staked out, and those lines were all the way north of the house that we're currently gonna dig for the little step to go in. Wouldn't be close. It'd probably be over 9 feet away.
That's all the questions I have.
Okay. My turn. All right. So you said you have a full basement.
Correct.
What is the current framing of the existing non-enclosed porch?
So it's a 2x4 framing, which I would be converting to 2x6s.
The decking,
So underneath is actually 2x8s. It's original to the house.
so the 2x8, 24s or 16 on 7?
So if you're looking at it, they spanned it the wrong way when they originally built it. So it's spanning, instead of going the short distance of 7 feet, they went across to 16 feet. So when I restructure the basement floor, I'm gonna turn the ceiling joist the right way so they're 7 feet instead of the 16 foot going this way.
So is there a change in elevation from the existing porch into the house?
No.
There's no step up into the house?
So talk about from the basement?
No,
Oh, so,
from the existing porch deck
yep,
into the house?
okay.
Is there a change in elevation?
No, so currently the steps we have on there now would lead to the, on the side of our house from our driveway, it's the same amount of steps to get into the,
I'm not asking you about the steps.
okay,
Here is the level of your porch.
okay, Yep.
Here is the level of your house.
Yep.
When you step through the front door, is there a change in elevation from the porch to the house floor?
no,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to raise the porch floor to be level with it?
no, because currently when we step on our porch, all we do is open our front door and just walk right in. It's the
Level.
same level.
Okay,
Yeah, there's no step.
okay. So looking at your pictures, do you intend to take the existing front door of the house
Yep.
out?
Correct.
And that's just gonna be an open hole from the new portico into the existing living room?
Correct.
Okay.
Are you gonna buy a new one, or are you just gonna?
No, we're gonna buy a new one. I bought that door and moved
Okay,
in
it's
19
curiosity.
19 years ago. I took out the old front
I
door
get
and
that.
put that one in, but it's over its time. It's very old, so we want to get a nice front door for the house. So.
Okay, so you're obviously gonna have to make some insulation considerations.
Yeah, that's
Basement, obviously all the new interior walls.
Yep.
Which are your existing, soon to be existing porch walls.
correct. Yeah, so we're gonna go with 2x6s so we can fit in the correct amount of insulation into the walls and make it warm. And there's already heat run on the other side, inside the main basement, that's easily kicked up to put heat in there too. So I just like to say thank you too to Erin, who was a great help, and also to Karen for helping with the paperwork too. She was amazing too to get it all together. So it's such a simple project, but it's just to explain it was very tough to do, you know. But so I just like to say thank you to those guys too.
Be very careful with that word simple. These projects take up
Well, you know, we've
lines
done
of
so
their
many
own.
projects over the years. We've all said simple at first, and then we've gone through it. So it's nothing's ever simple.
And from a ceiling perspective, you're probably not gonna get the required R value for this area in that existing porch ceiling, so.
It actually goes up from the current ceiling that it is now. It goes up 3.5 feet to the peak. So we can put up, attic insulation at least until it tapers down into the small sections, which we were planning on doing foam insulation that gives you more R value, until we can put in the attic insulation, which has a lot higher R value for the stuff we can put it in.
And then obviously, he's gonna have to pull over and certain permits, you're gonna need electrical permit. Any plumbing?
No,
plumbing?
no more bathrooms. But yeah, there's
Although you
already
probably like another bathroom.
yeah, there is existing electrical in there. We weren't planning on adding any more. There's already a light for the porch, but I was gonna update it to a better wire since it's an older, maybe a
But it's gonna
19.
be the same existing wire?
Yeah, existing
Okay.
wire, but we'll probably update it to a modern wire, except for I think the wire that's in there is from the 1950s, so I think we might update it to like
Well, you're gonna have to add outlets for the walls and stuff.
yeah, maybe a couple outlets. So yeah, I talked with Aaron. We were going to treat it as the part of the porch enclosure would be considered a new addition project, which we would adhere to the codes with electrical and framing inspections too. So.
Any windows?
Yes, 2 windows. They'll be up front. Up where the front door is, it'll be right in next to the door.
So side lights,
What's that?
side lights next to the doors. I'm
Side.
asking, are you
Oh.
putting windows in the walls?
Yes, so there'll be a window on the right side of the door and a window on the left side of the door, but it's not one of those doors that has the small windows that you put in next to it. It'll be separate. There'll be full-size windows on each side of the door.
So not exactly like the picture?
Not exactly. I'm sorry. We're in healthcare, not in artistic people whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I had to clip and
No,
try and
I-
put. We tried to find a house that was most similar to the portico that we were.
And the
trying
width
to
of the
find.
porch is not gonna change?
No, not at all.
That's it for me.
Any other questions, anybody?
No, I think everything's been answered.
Very good. Okay, thank you very much, we appreciate it.
Yep.
You are welcome. Okay, anything from the general public right now? And you know the process, tell us who you are, and where you live.
Richard Waller, 20 Elm Street. My only question was of the building department. This was originally a porch on the front then, right? As I remember, it was an open porch at one time.
Well, it's an existing porch, and when I moved in, it was enclosed. It had some screens up, but it was never fully enclosed. It has to be like a living space.
I only ask this because in my neighborhood, and I assume in others, the village has taken a dim view of enclosing porches rather liking to see a porch be a porch. In the past, the village has taken that attitude. And if you want to know why your floor joists run the wrong way, I'll explain it to you later. Thank you.
But this is not gonna be enclosed.
The existing porch, the
Yes.
original porch is going to be enclosed.
Yeah, the new one will be open.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would just be a covered set, a small set of steps and
Yeah, there'll be a small
a
pad.
room to open a
5
door
feet.
on a
Yeah.
little. Yeah,
Correct.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, what I'll do at this point is I'll give the board any opening they have for any questions or comments. Otherwise, then we will move into a vote. Kathy, nothing?
No.
Larry?
No.
Well said. Nothing? Chris?
Any feedback from the neighbors, pushback as far as closing in an existing open porch?
Not that I've heard.
There was some letter that went out to all the neighbors within 100 feet. We did not receive any comments back.
There we
No,
go.
no violent opposition is always good.
I think my only caveat, and it doesn't really have to do with the zoning or a variance, is just with the new building codes, you're making more living space. With the existing building code and the alteration, the energy code, be able to comply with all those things. The slab likely wouldn't be able to, or the 6x6, it wouldn't set on the slab, there'd have to be a footer down below.
Yep.
All those
Put a
things.
footer
It is- I don't know if it was just description or if it was, I don't want to surprise you later with those things, but it has nothing to do with this really, but just make sure, I don't know if there's going to be drawing plans, or different design, but there's certainly certain elements that'll have to be addressed for the issue of permit, as far as, like I said, insulation, energy code things, the building code, the existing building, that's an alteration to it probably, or the residential code. So there is not as simple as it sounded, but I think that might be just a short description for here. So I don't want to have any surprises down the line, so.
Yeah, we did a major renovation like 7 years ago, put an addition onto our house and had to adhere by all the codes and inspections, and we're more than happy to go through it again on a smaller scale.
All right. No, I just want.
Absolutely, yeah. It helps her dad's a mason too, so with the footer, and we've already talked to him and all that about putting in the footer to hold the weight of any snow or anything that wouldn't push down the pad, so.
Might be a little more accurate sketches.
Gotcha. No problem.
Jake, thank you. Michael?
I'm also.
Anything? Me? Yes.
Don't forget a secret.
Very good.
It's a type-
All right.
It's a type 2 action for
Yeah.
area variance. I can make a motion on that.
Why don't you?
I make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker with no significant environmental impact.
Okay, we've got a motion on the table for type 2.
I'll second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None. Okay, so we have type 2.
Thank you.
And now what we have is we have the variance request for a shorter distance as listed in your, I think it's 5.48 would be the current one. Oh, what is that?
15.45.
It's, the applicant proposes to build a porch with a front setback of 15.45. The applicant seeks relief from the current zoning for a 5.48 variance
Right.
to the front yard setback.
All right, I'll make a motion for a positive recommendation to grant the 5.48 foot area variance into the front setback of said property.
Okay, we've got a motion on the table to approve the variance as written. We have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Congratulations. Go forward. We hope this wasn't too difficult for you. But I think when we get people come in, and this is a personal opinion, do nice things and you do what you can in the village and to your own property. You're always gonna get me standing up saying that sounds like a good thing.
Appreciate it, thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, we have one other thing, actually two other things before we let this thing go. Number one, you were given the meeting minutes for March 19th meeting. Have you had any chance to look at that? And then if you have any questions, would you accept it as is?
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
Michael, motion to accept as written,
I'll second.
seconded by Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, last item I have on our agenda, do we have anything up yet for,
Yes, for
The
June
June.
18th, it's looking like we have probably 2 at this point. The deadline is next Friday, so by then we should know for sure and have the actual applications, but
and did you say the 14th, I thought you said?
18th.
18th, I'm sorry. Thank you. All right, so we have a potential meeting with 2 items potentially on June 18th. So just so that everybody knows that. Any other questions or open comments? All right. If that's the case, then what we have is a closure to the meeting. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to close.
Michael, seconded? Seconded all around? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Very good. Not bad.
20 minutes.
Yes.
All right. Now we're cooking.